So, today we're going to look at a company that's doing something, well, it's a lot bigger than just building an app. They're actually building the digital foundation of trust for an entire country's economy. We're talking about a company called UBTS and how they're tackling a billion-dollar problem in Cameroon.
So let's just start with this massive question because it's really at the heart of everything. This isn't about, faster internet or a slicker website. It's about something way more fundamental. How do you actually digitize trust? How do you create a system where millions of farmers, businesses, and even the government can have absolute confidence in the products that their entire economy is built on?
And the story really begins right here, with this enormous problem. Look, in Cameroon, agriculture is everything. It's the backbone. We're talking about a sector that employs almost 70% of the working population. But here's the catch. This incredibly vital sector is being held back by what you could call a billion-dollar trust deficit. And that's not just a feeling. It's a real structural gap in information that is costing the country an absolute fortune.
And this quote right here, it just nails the real-world impact of that deficit. Let's break it down. Opacity. That just means you have no clue where your food is actually coming from. Inequitable value distribution. Well, that's a fancy way of saying the farmers do all the hard work and get pennies on the dollar. And the big one, lack of traceability, means you can't prove your product is high quality, which completely locks you out of the most profitable global markets. You want to put a price tag on this problem? Just look at this number. 167.3 billion with a B FCFA. That is how much Cameroon had to spend on fish imports in 2022 alone. Think about that. A country with massive agricultural potential is spending a fortune buying food from other countries, all because of these inefficiencies and breaks in the supply chain. That's the trust deficit in action, and that's the exact problem UBTS was built to solve.
So what's the fix? Well, it's not a Band-Aid. It's a whole new digital keystone for the entire economic structure. And it's called the UBTS Africa Agritech Digital Passport, or UAA-DP for short.
Okay, so this is the absolute core of the innovation. The UAA-DP gives every single product, we're talking every batch of cocoa, every shipment of fish, its own unique, completely tamper-proof digital identity. It creates this verifiable digital thread that you can follow from the moment it's planted to the moment it's on a shelf. And get this, the tech behind it comes from Simba Chain, a U.S. company that was born out of a DARPA grant. Yeah, that's the same agency that develops bleeding-edge tech for the U.S. military. So this isn't some startup experiment. We're talking about a system built on a foundation of military-grade security.
So what makes this all possible? Well, most of us have heard of NFTs, right? But those are usually static. Think of a static NFT like a digital birth certificate. Once it's made, the information is set in stone. UBTS is using something way more powerful, a dynamic NFT, or a dNFT. The best way to think about it is like a living, breathing medical record for our product. It gets updated constantly at every single step of its journey, from the soil analysis to the harvest date to the temperature inside the shipping container, all the way to its final quality certification. It's a living history.
All right, so let's connect the dots here. How does this fancy tech solve those huge, real-world problems we talked about? This table lays it out perfectly. You've got export fraud and tax evasion, while the digital ledger makes every single shipment verifiable, which means a huge boost in tax revenue for the government. You're struggling with quality that's all over the place? The immutable record lets good producers prove their quality is superior so they can finally demand a premium price. And this last one, this is a game changer. The European Union has new anti-deforestation rules, the EUDR. Basically, if you can't prove your coffee or cocoa didn't come from deforested land, you are locked out of Europe, period. The dNFT solves this by logging the exact GPS data of the farm, guaranteeing access to one of Cameroon's most important markets.
And listen, this isn't just a theory. If you want to see the kind of economic explosion this can create, look at this. A Simba Chain case study with Tokes Coffee down in Mexico saw a mind-blowing 700% increase in revenue for farmers. 700%. How? By using this exact traceability technology to completely cut out all the unnecessary middlemen, connecting the farmers directly to the value they create.
Now this next part, this is absolutely critical, especially for any investor watching. The UAA-DP isn't some standalone project hoping to get noticed. It is perfectly, architecturally aligned with Cameroon's #1 national priority, a plan called PIISAH. This is the government's grand strategy to achieve food independence and slash its reliance on imports. So UBTS isn't just selling a piece of software, it's providing the very engine for a national economic transformation. It's becoming critical national infrastructure. So, okay,
The Agritech digital passport is a complete game changer for the country's products, no question. But to make a system like this really work, you also have to connect the people. And that brings up a really important question. How does this whole vision become a scalable, self-sustaining business? Well, that brings us to the second and deeply connected part of their strategy.
And here's the other side of the coin, the monetization engine. It's called UBTS Africa Guest WiFi for All. This is what tackles the digital divide on the ground, and crucially, creates the cash flow to power the entire vision.
Now, the Wi-Fi division has been really smart about its evolution. It started by proving the concept in the field, running successful tests at universities and even with the telecom giant MTN Cameroon. Then, they made a really critical pivot. Instead of building out expensive physical infrastructure, UBTS shifted to a highly scalable software model with their partner GoZone WiFi. And now, they're entering a whole new phase, focusing 100% of their efforts on a massive national rollout through a strategic partnership with Campost, Cameroon's national postal service, to reach everyone across the country.
And what's really important to understand is that UBTS isn't just an app developer. They hold a first-category telecom license, which is a huge strategic advantage. Their model isn't about selling Wi-Fi. It's about using free Wi-Fi access as a gateway to turn a previously unreachable audience into a valuable asset. For a partner like Campost, this turns a cost center, public internet, into a brand new revenue engine through ads, data, and digital experiences. And by getting more people online, especially in rural areas, it builds the digital literacy needed for those same farmers to adopt the Agritech digital passport. You see, the two divisions feed each other perfectly.
Look, a vision this big, this ambitious, it doesn't just happen. It requires a pretty unique kind of architect to actually pull it off. An architect is honestly the perfect word for the founder, Armand Gayton-Guidi. He's got this incredibly unique background that combines deep tech expertise, hands-on training experience across the continent, and a proven record of implementing national-level digital policy. This gives UBTS this rare ability to speak with total credibility to government ministers, to telecom CEOs, and to international investors, pretty much all in the same conversation.
Okay, so let's boil it all down. What's the big idea here for an investor? It's this simple. UBTS has built one single, highly scalable software spine, and that one platform powers two completely distinct but deeply synergistic revenue engines. You've got monetizing connectivity through Wi-Fi, and you have digitizing trust through the Agritech digital passport. One connects the people, the other connects the products. So when you really look at all of this, you realize what UBTS has created is a blueprint for national digital transformation. And because the whole model is software first, not infrastructure first, it is incredibly replicable. So the question isn't just about whether this will succeed in Cameroon. The real question you should be asking is, which nation is next?